Peek at the moon. What you see will light up your eyes.
Tonight at 6 on Channel 4 News. Coverage you can count on.
Terror warning. Intelligence experts say Al-Qaeda may be set to go on a new terror rampage. The British stop all flights to Kenya fearing an imminent attack. After the war, why the chaos of Baghdad is shaking the confidence of that city's important middle class. Death ride. A New York truck driver faces charges of smuggling human cargo after 18 immigrants die in the back of his sweltering tractor trailer. And the fleecing of America. The government seizing private property just to increase the tax base. Is that fair?
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. For some time now, senior administration officials have been saying it's not important whether Osama bin Laden is dead or alive. It's the terrorist network that's the target. But now there is fresh evidence that he's not only alive, but commanding al-Qaeda in a new aggressive campaign against American targets, including that latest attack in Saudi Arabia. More than a year and a half after 9/11, Osama bin Laden remains a major threat and remains at large. NBC Jim Miklashevsky at the Pentagon tonight. Jim?
Tom, U.S. government officials tell NBC News it appears Osama bin Laden himself ordered this week's terrorist bombings in Saudi Arabia and is actively planning still more terrorist attacks. U.S. officials believe several months ago, Osama bin Laden first ordered the planning for this week's assault in Riyadh that killed 8 Americans. Then, within the past few weeks, gave the final go-ahead for the attack. It's the strongest, most recent indication yet that bin Laden is still in control of his terrorist network and determined as ever to attack U.S. targets. So determined, say U.S. sources, it's created friction at the top levels of al-Qaeda. Bin Laden reportedly pushing for more frequent attacks against bigger targets, while other al-Qaeda leaders argue the terrorist group may be stretched too thin to pull off such an ambitious campaign. Nevertheless, U.S. intelligence indicates a new wave of terrorist attacks may be imminent. Kenya today issued a terrorist threat warning for this man, commonly known by the single name Harun. He's an al-Qaeda operative allegedly responsible for the 1998 U.S. Embassy bombing in Nairobi and last year's attack on a Jewish-owned hotel in Mombasa. It's feared Harun is close to launching more attacks in Kenya. The U.S. issued a travel warning, and British Airways suspended all flights to Kenya, fearing attacks with Stinger missiles. Besides Kenya, U.S. officials say it appears terrorist attacks are imminent in Liberia, Somalia, Indonesia, and Malaysia. It's also feared there could be additional attacks in Saudi Arabia. At the Pentagon today, Joint Chiefs Chairman General Dick Meyer suggested that for now, many al-Qaeda remain out of U.S. reach.
Our suspicions are they're living in areas where they can bribe the tribals that are inclined to support them and protect them, and they're in very difficult areas.
U.S. officials believe Osama bin Laden is still hiding in the no-man's land along the Afghanistan-Pakistan border. And despite the new terrorist threat overseas, U.S. intelligence officials report there's no evidence of any apparent imminent terrorist threat here inside the U.S. Tom?
Thanks very much, NBC Jim Miklashevsky at the Pentagon tonight. Meanwhile, trained in terror camps and schooled in hate, 2 suspected al-Qaeda fugitives are under indictment tonight for the bombing of the USS Cole. These are the first criminal charges in more than a year and a half against al-Qaeda. But for the families of the 17 sailors killed on board the Cole, do these charges go far enough? Justice Department, Pete Williams now.
The 2 men, both from Yemen, are charged with helping al-Qaeda carry out the deadly attack against the USS Cole in October 2000 as the ship was refueling in the Yemeni port city of Aden. The Attorney General says Jamal al-Badawi helped put the attack in motion by going to Saudi Arabia, buying a boat and trailer, and renting a house in Aden to store it, along with hundreds of pounds of explosives.
Badawi is charged with being a key operative in Aden, who was enlisted to participate in the attacks by members of Osama bin Laden's inner circle.
The FBI says the other man charged today, Fahd al-Qusso, was posted to a hill overlooking the port to videotape the attack. Investigators revealed today that the boat used in the suicide attack against the Cole was actually used 10 months earlier in an unsuccessful operation to bomb a different Navy destroyer in the same port. The terrorist boat sank, but they recovered it, the FBI says.
Both the men indicted today were actually under arrest in Yemen until they broke out of their jail cells last month. Now their whereabouts are unknown.
So now officials say by filing charges, the U.S. has a better claim on the two men if they're arrested overseas. Without today's charges, they would likely be returned to Yemen. Family members of the Cole victims call the charges a good start, but not enough.
If we have an indictment, that's great, but we need to apprehend these people and get them into custody.
John Clodfelter, the father of a sailor killed on the Cole, says U.S. Special Forces should sneak into Yemen and grab any remaining bombing suspects.
We're not going to get hold of these people unless we go in there and take them ourselves.
As the families ask for swift justice, investigators concede they have yet to even identify all the operatives that helped bomb the Cole. Pete Williams, NBC News, Washington.
And in Iraq today, U.S. forces raided a northern city near Tikrit and grabbed almost 300 people, including the two of diamonds from the deck of most wanted cars. Just one of the many challenges for U.S. troops these days as they struggle to bring peace to cities torn apart by war. NBC's Jim Avila has more on that tonight.
American soldiers cracking down on Baghdad street bandits today, battling a band of thieves Iraqis equate with the legendary thief Alibaba.
What's his name?
U.S. infantrymen, now cops in a city where the civilian police are nearly invisible. Today, armed with tough new rules, storming the gun market, where it's no longer legal to buy or sell weapons, confiscating 1,000 truckloads of firepower, arresting 300 accused criminals, and putting them in jail for days at a time.
Well, we stopped the bank robbery. We stopped some other people kicking other people out of their house.
Good afternoon.
Today, America's top civilian official, Paul Bremer, admitted the serious law and order problem and promised 4,000 U.S. military police.
We have to deal with the criminal elements here in Baghdad, and we will.
But Iraqis are losing patience. Baghdad after dark is a virtual no man's land. The streets nearly empty even before the 11 o'clock curfew. Gunfire in nearly every neighborhood. And American generals say it's not random violence. Some of the anarchy is sponsored by the remnants of Saddam's party, the Baathists. And the crime wave is shaking the confidence of the middle class. The Assad family is Iraq's future. Moderate Shiite, educated, opposed to Saddam Hussein. Anxious for freedom, but now frustrated and afraid.
I know Saddam Hussein is a very bad person, and I hate him. But now there is no safety. There is no police.
So now Hussein Assad sleeps with a pistol under his pillow to protect his family.
Every night when I sleep, the gun is here, and every sound I hear it, I hold my gun.
What? In a city where war is won much faster than any peace.
No.
Jim Avila, NBC News, Baghdad.
And NBC News has learned that the man who was the New York City police commissioner at the time of the September 11th terror attacks, Bernie Kerik, will be going to Baghdad to try to help improve Iraq's internal security and policing. Kerik is a senior executive at Giuliani Partners, the corporate consulting firm run by Kerik's former boss, former Mayor Rudolph Giuliani. Here in the United States, charges tonight in one of the deadliest cases of smuggling ever. 100 men, women, and children crammed into a sealed, sweltering tractor-trailer truck. And when it was all said and done, 18 of them were dead. More now from NBC's Don Teague.
In Victoria, Texas, more survivors of Wednesday's failed smuggling attempt captured and brought to a community shelter. Claudia Barrios came here too, hoping to find her cousin.
I want to know if he's here or if he's in the hospital. I just don't know.
Authorities spent the day combing the area near a South Texas truck stop, looking for dozens of other immigrants who fled from the truck.
They hide from us. I mean, we're not trying to do anything but get them some food and water and some medical attention, but I guess I can't blame them for being scared.
The immigrants, up to 100 of them from Mexico and Central America, suffered a horrible ordeal. Locked in the back of a cargo truck in soaring Texas heat, 18 of them died, including a 5-year-old boy.
That little boy, his whole world was wrapped up in the back of that truck. And he died a very horrible death. Somebody is going to pay.
The truck driver, who police say abandoned his rig full of people Wednesday morning, appeared before a federal magistrate today on charges of illegally transporting and hiding humans. According to a court affidavit, Tyrone Williams told police he was promised $5,000 to transport only 16 aliens to Houston. But when he stopped to check a taillight, he heard banging and screaming coming from the trailer of the truck. Then opened the door of the trailer and saw a large group of people. Many were already dead, but among the survivors, Silverio Gomez's teenage son.
Every Hispanic has a dream to have a better life.
But for many, the dream died in South Texas. The survivors now witnesses in the deadliest immigrant smuggling case in the U.S. in 15 years. After that, most will be sent home. Don Teague, NBC News, Victoria, Texas.
Up next, NBC News in depth tonight, a sudden surge in Cuban citizens risking their lives to get to America. What is going on inside Cuba that has more people trying to swim to freedom these days? Later, a New York woman confirms that she did have an affair with John F. Kennedy 40 years ago when he was president and she was a 19-year-old White House intern.
We always said when the kids leave home, we'll do things together.
How about golf?
How about antiquing?
Bowling might be good.
Let's start with a nice dinner together.
You're on.
Stouffer's homestyle entrees make it easy to enjoy those great meals, like our favorite tender-baked chicken breast and creamy mashed potatoes.
Excellent.
That's good. So when we finally decide what to do,
dancing.
There's time to enjoy it.
Stouffer's, nothing comes closer to home.
How do you invest to help secure your retirement? You start with your dreams. And Edward Jones.
My life, my world, it all begins with a dream.
Edward Jones.
I think arthritis can change the way you perceive yourself, if you let it. The trick is, don't let it.
Move over or leave. This is Tylenol arthritis pain. A different Tylenol. Just 2 caplets in the morning have the strength to last all day, with safety that can't be beat.
Arthritis pain? Don't we have better things to do?
I don't have the greatest soil here, and the topsoil you buy isn't much better. But this is Miracle Grow Garden Soil. Premium organic materials plus Miracle Grow plant food mixed in. Look at the difference it makes. Amazing.
These women were Clorox Ready Mop users until they took home the Grab-It mop, and both mops went head-to-head.
The Grab-It mop is much better.
It's got that foaming action on there, so it can attack the scuff marks.
Makes it nice and loose, then you can wipe it away.
After I used the Clorox mop, I had to go over it with the Grab-It.
In the end, more Clorox users chose Grab-It, 63%.
I'll fight you for my Grab-It.
The better mop is
the Grab-It, the Grab-It, the Grab-It mop.
An all-new Dateline Friday, disaster at sea. Amazing eyewitness video of a dramatic Coast Guard rescue. But once everyone was out of the water, that's when the real story began.
You call it organized crime.
What was that ill-fated boat really up to? Dateline Friday at a special time, 8/7 Central on NBC.
MSNBC Tonight. Police say they may never know what killed Lacey Peterson. Is this good or bad news for the prime suspect? Hardball with Chris Matthews, tonight on MSNBC.
NBC News in depth tonight. Fidel Castro's deadly crackdown on dissidents and renewed tensions with Washington, especially after this week's expulsion of 14 Cuban diplomats on suspicion of spying. And today, a stark reminder of the lengths that some will go to escape Castro's Cuba. More now from NBC's Chief Foreign Affairs correspondent, Andrea Mitchell.
6 Cubans so desperate to reach America, they tried to swim after their boat was stopped by the Coast Guard today off the Florida Keys. 2 tread water for 3 hours before being captured. All 6 will likely be sent back. What might they face? Jail or even execution, like 3 men who tried to get out by hijacking a ferry last month. In the past month, Fidel Castro has smashed Cuba's growing democracy movement, jailing 75 dissidents for terms up to 28 years. Most experts say he felt they were gaining too much support. In jail, economists and even poets like Raul Rivera. In this indictment obtained by NBC News, Rivera and others are accused of crimes like actions to discredit the perfect course of the revolutionary Cuban system. Still, every Sunday, Rivera's wife and others silently protest.
Justamente encarcelados.
She says their prisoners are unjustly jailed. The families also come to the home of human rights leader Elizardo Sanchez for a weekly stipend, $30. At great risk to himself, he talked to NBC News about prison conditions.
O de situación infrahumana para.
He says the treatment is subhuman. Many experts say Castro is trying to provoke a crisis with the U.S. In an exclusive interview, Cuba's top diplomat here denies it.
It is not true. In fact, Cuba and the Cuban government has been the one who has been pushing for a better relation for years.
To punish Castro, the president is under pressure to tighten the 43-year trade embargo, even cut off the few flights to Havana, and the $1 billion Cuban Americans send home each year. A new bill in Congress would do the opposite. Lift all travel restrictions, flood Cuba with American tourists and ideas to challenge Castro.
If you allow tourists to go down, if you allow Americans of all stripes to go down, then he loses that much more control.
But for now, Castro has an iron grip on Cuba, with little hope for those who want out or those who want to improve life at home. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News, Washington.
Up next, the government taking over private homes and turning them over to other developers. An imminent fleecing of America?
NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. Brought to you in part by Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Welcome aboard. Please turn off all unapproved electronic devices. We have a very crowded flight today, and all overhead space is full. The captain expects frequent turbulence, so please remain seated at all times. And we do anticipate a late arrival. Thank you.
The Hyundai Santa Fe, with America's best warranty. 10 years, 100,000 miles. When you upgrade your travel plans, you win.
Winning a gold medal in any field makes a bold statement. That's why we're proud to announce that Smart Balance Buttery Spreads have been judged the best tasting in the soft vegetable spread category by the American Tasting Institute. Smart Balance helps to improve the ratio of good to bad cholesterol with no trans fatty acids and no hydrogenated oil. It has the right balance of fats you want in your diet. Use Smart Balance Buttery Spreads, the sensational taste for healthy eating.
It will soon be here. A product that works while you sleep. Whitening your teeth a new and better way. It's called Crest Night Effects. It forms a liquid strip coating that stays on teeth all night, while most of that other paint-on whitener washes off. So you'll get twice the whitening. You'll never again waste a perfectly good night just sleeping. You'll spend it creating a whiter smile. New Crest Night Effects.
Women over 50 and men over 40 are waking up to a surprising fact. They're already at an increased risk of a heart attack. Because of age and other risk factors, doctors recommend Bayer low-dose aspirin as part of a routine to help prevent a heart attack. And taking Bayer for your heart is easy. Aspirin is not appropriate for everyone, so be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen. Ask your doctor about Bayer for many more great days ahead. And try new Bayer Mint Chewable Aspirin. Trust your heart to Bayer.
I'll get this. Getting a really low rate on this card.
Well, I hope it's a low fixed rate, like my Capital One no hassle card.
Low and fixed. So what's going to happen to my rate?
Get the Capital One no hassle card for the nation's lowest fixed rates and no balance transfer fees.
What's in your wallet? Monday, the first ever live broadcast from the DMZ. Matt Lauer reports on America's troops policing Korea's thin line between war and peace. Only on Today on NBC.
Where have all the fish gone? NBC Nightly News tomorrow.
China, which is at the epicenter of the SARS epidemic, is taking its fight against the virus to the ultimate step today. The government warned it would consider executing anyone who causes death by knowingly spreading SARS. In Washington, the Republicans in the United States Senate are confident that they finally have come up with a tax-cutting formula that the president can claim is a jobs-creating victory. But the final bill is a long way from the president's original proposal, and Democrats say the fundamental problem remains. It's heavily tilted to the rich, they claim. NBC's Nora O'Donnell on the compromises and the courting it took to reach the final version.
The president has been campaigning for his tax cut plan for weeks, and tonight the Senate was expected to deliver him most, but not all, of what the president wants.
I believe this will help make a significant economic impact.
Vice President Dick Cheney was called to Capitol Hill to cast the tie-breaking vote for the crown jewel of the president's package, a plan that would eliminate the tax on stock dividends for the next 4 years. Senate Republicans got just enough votes after they won over Democrat Ben Nelson of Nebraska.
I also appreciate so very much Ben Nelson for coming.
The president had personally campaigned in Nebraska, but Nelson says it was the $20 billion he won in aid to cash-strapped states that helped change his mind.
This isn't about a victory for the president or a victory for me. It's about a victory in the case of state fiscal relief.
The bill would cut taxes by $440 billion by temporarily eliminating the tax on stock dividends, ending the marriage penalty, and giving small business tax cuts. But critics, including Republican Lincoln Chafee, accused his own party of using budget tricks to squeeze in all elements of the president's plan.
Financial shenanigans, it's financial jujitsu, whatever you want to call it, but it's not the right thing to do.
Democrats charge the bill overwhelmingly benefits the wealthy and deepens the budget deficit.
We're being asked to buy a pig and a poke. That's what we would say in Louisiana, a pig and a poke.
Senator from Iowa.
The way to make sure that the American people are not buying a pig and a poke is to get more money in the pockets of the taxpayers.
Under today's plan, many of these tax cuts will expire over the next several years, but Republicans hope and Democrats fear that these tax cuts will eventually be made permanent. Nora O'Donnell, NBC News, the Capitol.
On Wall Street today, the market shrugged off an alarming report on producer prices, which posted their biggest drop in 10 years, and stocks finished back on the plus side. The Dow was up more than 65 points on the day. NASDAQ was up more than 16 points. In New York today, a 60-year-old woman acknowledged that she was the former White House intern who had an affair with President John F. Kennedy, and she was just 19 years old at the time. Mimi Fonstock is now a church administrator in Manhattan. The affair came to life this week in a new Kennedy biography. Although she was not identified by name in the book, today she released a statement that read in part, "From June 1962 to November 1963, I was involved in a sexual relationship with President Kennedy." She said she would have no further comment on the subject and asked for privacy for herself and for her family. And the actor Robert Stack died yesterday at his home in Los Angeles. His wife said the cause was heart failure. His film career began back in 1939, and he appeared in many movies, even getting an Oscar nomination as Best Supporting Actor for the 1956 melodrama Written on the Wind. But his real fame came on television as the legendary mob buster Elliot Ness of The Untouchables. Later, he was best known to a younger generation as the host of the syndicated series Unsolved Mysteries. Robert Stack was 84 years old.
When I go into the schools, I'm very proud of what I do. I help kids learn to read.
We did a walkathon for juvenile diabetes.
I help feed the homeless in a soup kitchen every Saturday.
That's why Market works.
It's giving, it's helping, it's doing, it's giving back to the community.
I love to see their faces just light up.
Just knowing that you've helped that one person.
That they come home and they have a smile on their face, that's my day.
I'm very proud to be a Walmart associate.
We live here too, and we believe good works.
When these marigolds were potted, they were the same size. The difference? This. Miracle Grow potting mix. Premium organic materials plus Miracle Grow plant food mixed in. So plants grow twice as big. Have you used Miracle Grow lately?
A definite edge. Cadillac CTS. Breakthrough.
Hello? It's Dr. Ross. I have your colon polyp test results. You're fine.
Help stay that way with Caltrate Colon Health. You may help reduce the risk of recurrent colon polyps, a colon cancer risk factor. Don't wait. Take Caltrate Colon Health.
Now, non-drowsy allergy medicine you can take right when you need it.
Alavert. It starts dissolving the instant it touches your tongue without water. So you can take Alavert wherever you are for non-drowsy relief. New Alavert. Allergy medicine right when you need it, wherever you are.
For the best protection against water damage, one name says it all. Thompson's Water Seal, Wood Protector Plus Waterproofer for the highest level of water protection guaranteed. Thompson's Water Seal and New Advance, the most powerful protection against water damage.
We always said when the kids leave home, we'll do things together.
How about golf?
How about antiquing?
Bowling might be good.
Let's start with a nice dinner together.
You're on.
Stouffer's home-style entrees make it easy to enjoy those great meals, like our favorite tender-baked chicken breast and creamy mashed potatoes.
Excellent.
So when we finally decide what to do,
dancing.
There's time to enjoy it.
Stouffer's, nothing comes closer to home.
Tonight at 6 on Channel 4 News.
A local lawmaker drafts a bill to save his own son from a drunk driving rep.
A clean swipe through Tunica. 4 armed robbers clear out the Grand Casino.
And tonight, take a peek at the moon. What you see will light up your eyes.
Tonight at 6 on Channel 4 News. Coverage you can count on.
Tonight's Fleecing of America, the right of eminent domain, the right of the government to condemn property for projects that are deemed to be for the greater good, for parks, water projects, whatever. But what about going after someone's home simply because a new development might bring in more tax dollars? Here's NBC's Fred Francis.
Jim and Joanne Salit feel like they are being forced out of their home of 38 years.
Our home is not for sale.
Sell, says the city of Lakewood, Ohio, or have it condemned.
It's been our life with our children.
And if our home isn't safe, nobody's home is safe.
The city has voted to scrap the Salits neighborhood, calling it blighted, because, among other things, they lack a 2-car attached garage. The plan, make room for a retail mall and luxury condos. Critics say it is an eminent domain land grab to increase the tax base. Lakewood's mayor defends it.
That is the bottom line, is tax base. But this is also about quality of life. This is about making sure that we also have a vibrant, attractive community.
Eminent domain, the government's power to seize private property for public use like bridges and roads for just compensation. It's sanctioned in the Constitution. Lately, public use has come to mean a lot more. Homeowners and mom and pop businesses are asking, where does it say in the American dream that I have to give up my life, my place by the lake, so government can improve its tax base? William Minnick's father built this woodworking business in Harlem 75 years ago. But a state agency says the neighborhood is blighted and would be better served by retail development.
I'm forced into retirement, in effect. I don't really know where I'm going to go.
Nationwide, 10,000 business people and homeowners have been told to make way for private development, according to the Libertarian Institute for Justice. Leaders in the fight against the use of eminent domain for private development.
In most of the eminent domain cases going on now, cities want richer neighbors and bigger businesses instead of middle-income neighbors and small businesses.
When you're forced to sell something you don't want to sell, that's stealing. Plain out stealing.
But the courts have repeatedly ruled it is not, that public use means more than building roads and can include improving the tax base. After 6 years, and he says $500,000, Minnick has lost his fight. 40 of Salit's neighbors have agreed to sell, but they vow to go to court to fight what they say is a fleecing of the American dream. Fred Francis, NBC News, Lakewood, Ohio.
That's Nightly News for this Thursday. I'm Tom Brokaw. I'll see you back here tomorrow night.
Nightly News is a presentation of NBC News. More Americans watch NBC News than any other news organization in the world.
Friday, amazing eyewitness video of a dramatic rescue at sea. But what was that ill-fated boat really up to? Dateline Friday, 8/7 Central on NBC.
Tonight, the killer disease SARS makes its way to Tennessee.
It eliminates responsibility for one's action.
A controversial proposal to change the DUI law. The chilling call for help. Now investigators try to understand how the tragedy happened. And more severe weather pounds parts of Middle Tennessee.
Middle Tennessee's #1 news starts right now.
Good evening. Welcome to Channel 4 News at 6.
SARS is the most talked about, most feared communicable disease in years. Now we learn SARS may be here in Tennessee. Channel 4's registered nurse, Carol Hauser's in the newsroom. Carol, what does this mean for us?
Well, it is a scary time. There are 2 suspected cases. It's a little confusing. The State Department of Health tells us there is a man from Mississippi who visited Memphis and was recently traveling in Hong Kong. He was treated for SARS symptoms in Memphis and then went home to Mississippi where he is under quarantine there. But there is another man, a Memphis man, who had recently traveled to Toronto, who is now quarantined in his Memphis home. We have seen the pictures of Hong Kong, certainly. The health department in Shelby County has not quarantined any of the healthcare workers who treated these 2 guys. They say that at this point, there's just no need to, but they are watching for possible spread.
There is a potential for spread anytime you're dealing with any type of infectious agent, but health officials are being very careful, both here and in Mississippi, to make sure that that does not happen.
Now, the men did go to the hospital with the classic high fever, chills, body aches. They were treated and released. Immediately, though, CDC folks were notified because of their travel to Hong Kong and Toronto, and they determined that they are suspected SARS